Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this morning's a little bit of a different morning for me. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and I got a call yesterday about somebody in crisis, a friend that I know, a family member. In crisis, and I have to leave. I have to go out, and I have to leave this morning at about 5 a.m. to go help this person, to go lend my support. And I'm not quite in the same frame of mind I usually am, making videos most mornings. I went through the news stories this morning to look for something to talk about. My mind just wasn't with it this morning, so I was just going to wait to make a video. But I decided to go and look and see how some of my recent videos did on views, and I had no idea. But I was surprised to see the video that I did talking about how I'm damaged, secret that a lot of men have. It's about 3 videos back. It got over 1,000 views. I saw a lot of comments coming in. When any of you comment, I get a notification. You know, I see your little emoji, your little thing pop up that you're making a comment. And I've been getting a lot of comments, and I had no idea that video got so many views. I was kind of disappointed at first. Sometimes videos are surprising. Like, I'll get 30 views in the first day, and then all of a sudden I look back at 2 days later and it's got over 1,000 views. So I don't know if somebody else is promoting the video or if it just got some traction or what. Anyway, I decided to talk a little bit more about that this morning. I'm going to do another video when I get back. I have to deal with some of this stuff first. But after seeing that, my stomach's all in knots right now. I thought about that. I thought about what happened back when I was probably about 11 years old when it started. This is the thing. When I see people on the right, Trump supporters, conservatives, talk about grooming, and they talk about the drag story hour, reading to kids or whatever, I get angry. What I really want to say is, you have no freaking idea what grooming is. I'll tell you what grooming is. And it insults me. It makes me so angry that they throw that word around like that, because I know what grooming is. I was groomed to a T, and I'm going to tell that. That's what I'm going to talk about right now for a little while this morning. Like I said, I told you in that video, my mother was totally in the dark about this. I mean, this guy was a cop, a decorated officer. He's probably she was in her probably late 30s. He was probably in his 50s. Decorated officer, just about to retire. He had gotten in a shootout. He had apprehended criminals and all sorts of stuff. A strong Irish guy, older man, respected and loved in the community. But I didn't feel comfortable around him right from the very beginning. I always had a hard time. My mother waited. My mother, she's a great mom. Let me tell you this too. When I told my mother, I didn't tell my mother until around, I think it was when I was about 38 years old. And I just spit it out on Mother's Day, what had happened, about how her past boyfriend, what he had done to me. And you're always afraid that you're not going to be believed. And the great thing was, she believed me right away, but it hurt her so bad. My little sister, 5'1", went over with her husband to his house, and I'm surprised she didn't take his life. She threatened to. She went face to face with him. She was very upset. So I'm glad that I had my family behind me. Like I said, I was about 11 years old when she started dating him. We lived out in the middle of the woods. My father was a park ranger, and he passed away when I was 9. And we still lived out in the middle of the woods in the park. So this cop would make a routine to check on the widow and her kids, making sure she's safe and all that. And I didn't trust this guy right from the very beginning. Sometimes, my mother trusted him. She had no reason not to. He was a decorated officer, upstanding, all that. But whenever, she'd leave me with him to go run to the store or something, and I would lock myself in the bathroom. This is before anything even started, because I just had a bad gut feeling about this guy when I was around him. The way he looked at me, the way it's weird. I could actually sense that he was a predator. Looking back, I really could, and I had never even been through any of that yet. But you just get this feeling that this guy isn't right. This guy's looking at me like, like a meal or something. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. This is what he started doing. She dated him for about the first year. And I remember him telling me this, you lost your father. I'll be there for you, Daryl. Because my father died when I was 9. So he said, he would help me fix my 10-speed, how to change a tire, how to take off the axle and change the bearings. I'll be there for you, Daryl. You don't have a father. I'll be there. He actually, how could you say that to an 11-year-old kid and have this on your mind, that, what he was going to do to me? Then I remember him giving me a Playboy. Like, my mother wasn't around. I was about 11 or 12 years old. I think Susan Summers, I think it was around 1977, 78. And Susan Summers was in the Playboy, if I'm not mistaken. And, he snuck it to me. It was like a bonding moment. It was guy to guy, here, Daryl, don't tell your mom, check this out, the guy, it was to him, it was a male bonding moment. To me, it was still creepy. I remember him giving me a condom when I was 13 years old. I had no girlfriends. I had no, I think I was younger. No, I was 12, 11 or 12. This was in the grooming stages. I had no girlfriends or anything. I had no chances of having any relations, but it was another bonding thing. Like, here you go, put this in your wallet when you get older. It was a bond. It was grooming. He was freaking grooming me. And it got to a point one day, I still remember this. My mother was downstairs doing the laundry. I was about 11, 12 years old, and she was in the basement. And I was sitting on the couch in the living room watching TV, sitting my legs down on the couch. And he came and sat in the living room with me. He sat on the couch with me, and I felt uncomfortable right away. My legs were going down the couch, and he sat on that end, facing me. Not facing me, but with my bottom half towards him, and I felt uncomfortable right away. And he leans over. My mother's downstairs. I could hear her doing the laundry downstairs. And I can't remember. He starts talking to me, and he reaches under. I have an Afghan blanket on me, and he reaches under the Afghan blanket and grabs me. And he goes, how's the stem of your stinger, Daryl? That's how it started. That was the first contact. And it just got a hell of a lot worse after that. Like I said, anything you could imagine, any kind of act, he had me do it. You name it, as a boy. I'll talk more about this coming up. You guys have a good Thanksgiving Eve.